Anthony, I like your new mobile studio.
You like that? 2 days in a row, man. Bouncing back and forth. Westchester, Connecticut. Busy guy. Where are you today?
Let's find out.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. Of course, I'm your co-host, Glenn Hausman. We got Anthony Melchiori over there. Anthony, how's your day going, man?
Well, I'm going to guess you're in a place that a gentleman named Willie Stargell used to play at.
He used to play at the Hotel Nyack.
Where are you?
I'm at Hotel Nyack over here. But before we get started, we have a great conversation coming up with the general manager over here. I just wanted to encourage all of you folks out there to take a look at our good friends over at Choice Hotels. Why Choice Hotels? Because they're going to help charge your investment. You know, they got those great new brands from Radisson over there. Of course, I'm talking about Radisson Country Inn and Suites, Radisson Blue, Radisson Red. All of the brands are going to help energize your portfolio now that the family of Choice Hotels is behind it. Check out Radisson Hotels America, RadissonHotelsAmericas.com/EN-US/development, or check out the franchise team over at Choice Hotels. So you ready to do this? We got a great general manager here. We're going to talk about
what city are you in? What city are you in?
It's right there in the name, Hotel Nyack.
Oh, you're in that. Okay. I thought you were in Pittsburgh.
We'll be in Pittsburgh tomorrow, coming from the DoubleTree. Right now, I got ourselves Matt Tobin, general manager, over here at the Hotel Nyack, a Joie de Vivre hotel. Or are they going? They're just JDV hotels these days.
It's whatever you can pronounce.
Yeah, I just like to say Joie de Vivre because I knew Chip Conley back in the day when he was still owning that particular brand over there. So it's great to see you, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us today. What a great hotel. You guys have been having a good time. And Anthony, this is his first job as a general manager since May. Before that, I was at DOSM.
Oh, really? Your first GM job. So what made you jump into being a GM?
I think it was just the passion of being the head honcho at the hotel. You know, this is a beautiful property. I moved to the area last summer with my wife and the kids, and we drove by the hotel numerous times, wanted to get involved in any way I could possible. And when the GM role opened up, it was the next evolution within my career, moving from operations to sales to director of sales and then area sales. What better position to be in than the general manager of a great property like this?
So when you were early in your career, you were a director of operations. You were in the operations.
Yes, I started off in banquets. I had some areas of in outlets, running the restaurants and some hotels in New York City. Then I moved into catering sales, got into group sales, and then evolved from there.
So what's the difference between the biggest difference between being the GM and director of sales for you?
I think it's more of the hands-on approach, but it's very similar in a sense. So you're running a team, you're managing individuals, you're making sure that the goals are clearly outlined, that they're achievable, that everybody has the tools they need to be successful. The biggest difference is I'm dealing with the guests as they're checking in today, as opposed to working with a client for months and months on end to make sure that they're happy and satisfied.
Right. That's interesting. That one of the things that's so essential is you coming from that role as on the sales side of it. One of the things I always hear about how critical it is to have a strong relationship between that general manager and the director of sales and marketing. What is that like for you now that you're in a different role, working with folks that used to have your role?
Yeah, so I thought that it was going to be more hands-on, but what I've actually found is I'm trying to learn the areas that I was less familiar with in terms of engineering, HVAC systems, the culinary aspects of it. And I'm leaning on my director of sales much more than I would be inputting information. We've got a wonderful director of sales and marketing here, Chloe Petretti, who's been here at the hotel for quite some time.
She's right over there.
And she brings so much knowledge and experience here to the table. She is so well respected within this community. And I find myself leaning on her to help guide us into where we need to be within this market and drive this hotel's revenues.
And Anthony, let's talk a little bit about what this market is for people that don't know. We're in the New York City area, but we're just north of New York City, what, 10, 15 miles or so?
Yeah, a little bit more than that, but it's definitely driving distance.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a New York City suburb. So it creates an interesting set of circumstances for you in order to be able to sell and market this hotel. What are some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages to being so close to the New York City market?
We are a great location for those being so close to New York City that want to get away from New York City for a quick weekend.
Right.
I think everybody would realize during the pandemic that they love being in the city, but being out in the suburbs a little bit gave you that little release and a little bit of escape for that time being. So during the summer months, we get guests coming out here from New York City or the other tri-state areas who they want that quick little escape. We've got a beautiful hotel overlooking the Hudson River. We've got the outdoor patio with the outdoor bar kicking and live music playing on the weekends. They've got the pool that they're able to enjoy, bring the kids with. So it's nice being close enough, but not too far away.
Yeah.
So during COVID, were you guys open and were you guys busy?
Yes.
Yeah, we were open during the entire process. They closed some of the food and beverage outlets, but a lot of that driver market started coming here, especially on the weekends and especially during the summer, where they wanted to get away and still be outdoors. And we've got some great outdoor space that bodes well for that.
Yeah, it's really great. And Anthony, one of the things that happened here during the pandemic is they changed hotel brands to become part of the Hyatt family with the Joie de Vivre Hotel. I don't want to talk about the previous iteration that they were, but it was an opportunity for you guys to rethink things, renovate the public spaces here, kind of reinvent the food and beverage as well. And here's what the hotel looks like as well. It's very much in that New York kind of aesthetic, kind of like that warehouse kind of feeling. Reminds me of all these New England towns that are kind of have those factories right on the water,
exactly,
and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
And explain for people who don't know the Joie de Vivre. I can't say it.
Joie de Vivre.
Yeah, that concept and how that became. That was back in 20, 30 years ago in California. It was kind of a boutique hotel that really kind of grew. So tell us about that kind of aesthetic and that kind of feeling.
Before you do that, let me just flesh out a little bit of what he said. Of course, he's talking about the company that Chip Conley put together. He's very well known within the hospitality industry. And when they created it, it was kind of a new approach. It was taking what the folks at Kimpton, for example, have done and kind of refining that process. And what they would do is they would take a magazine like Sports Illustrated or Rolling Stone and try to understand what the words are that go behind describing that magazine, and then kind of create hotels around those words and the vibe and energy. If not necessarily the Rolling Stone hotel, it would have that kind of feeling about it. So after Chip Conley sold it and became part of the Hyatt family, I think it became more traditional boutique hotel, but it's really important for each hotel to express their neighborhoods and all of that. Exactly. Right, Matt? Now you please take over. Yeah.
So Joie de Vivre stands for meaning is the joy of life. So every hotel tries to imbibe that joy of life and what that means for that community. So for Nyack and the surrounding areas, it was a very much a warehousey, manufacturing companies and neighborhoods back in the day. So there were a lot of warehouses that were doing textile work that was shipping down the Hudson, bringing everything to the city so that it could be manufactured and shipped off to the rest of the world. We took that, and the hotel actually was once a warehouse. So they rebuilt the hotel 6 years ago and kept that same look, but that joie de vivre lifestyle and that joy of life that we try to bring is just that. We want people to come here, have a great time, have a place where they can enjoy the pool with their family, have a great dinner in the restaurant, be close to the downtown area so they can take bikes out, go exploring, go hiking. It's really a good escape for that city life.
Yeah. And Anthony, go on.
No, go ahead.
I say what I really like about the design, because it's an adaptive reuse buildings. And for those of you who watch the show, those are some of my favorite types of hotels, because you're really able to capture that energy and aesthetic that you wouldn't otherwise with a brand new building. And I feel that here with the open ceilings that go right up, you can see some of the piping, but it feels as if it belongs. There was one casino resort in Atlantic City in Las Vegas, when they rebuilt it and changed names, they kind of went with that concept, but it looked unfinished. Here, it feels appropriate, it feels right, and it accentuates the feeling of comfort that I have here as well.
It does. The concrete floors bode well within the warm furniture that's added to it.
Hey,
some of
the polished concrete back there.
The garage doors here, even in the meeting space and out in the restaurant, help give them that open concept. The guest rooms have 12-foot high ceilings, so it makes it feel much more spacious, that open up into outside patios overlooking the Cuomo Bridge and the Hudson River. It really is a great design and a great concept. And you're right, it fits well here for what it is.
Was it hard for you to stop saying Tappan Zee Bridge and start saying Mario Cuomo Bridge?
It was. I'm a New Yorker. I grew up here. So you noticed the pause where I had to make sure I said it correctly. I didn't want anybody
I still haven't gotten used to the Ed Koch 59th Street Bridge, for example. Anyway, Anthony.
Or the Jim Carrey tunnel, which is the battery tunnel.
Yes.
Or that Jim Carrey.
It's Carol?
Jim Carrey. I was
whatever. So, but do you get a lot of incentive groups coming out of the city instead of people having meetings in the city? Like, you know what? Instead of going into the city, we're going to come out to you and have more of an incentive program out there.
We're starting to see the corporate market come back. This past week have been jam-packed back-to-back with some of those corporate meetings, and Chloe and her team have done a great job of selling the property. For the last year and a half, though, it has been mostly leisure travel and filling up during the midweeks with individuals who are just working from home, wanted to get away. But the corporate groups are slowly starting to come back, and we're happy to see that.
So if I'm in Midtown Manhattan, I'm in Times Square, and I'm driving, and there's no traffic, how long does it take to get out to you?
I like to qualify with the no traffic.
No traffic, 35 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, with traffic, 4.5 days.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want you to know that I'm 60 miles from here. I planned accordingly. I left yesterday after we recorded yesterday's show at something like 1-ish, and I knocked it out, and I got here without any traffic. If I had left earlier or later, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah, I was on the road yesterday for like 11 hours. That's why I looked exhausted. It took me 6 hours for a 4-hour drive, and then it took me 4 hours there on the 5-hour drive. So, yeah, I had a lot of driving yesterday.
Well, good for you. So, Matt, you said that group business is starting to come back. So what are they looking for, and how have the changes that you put into this building reflective of what you think that new customer is looking like today in 2022?
I think the new customers are looking for a different experience. It's not the cookie cutter experience where you have the continental breakfast and the chicken lunch, and it's a meeting space set up with tables and chairs, right? They're looking for different types of setups. They're looking for more interactive meeting spaces, and our space bodes really well for that. We have a speakeasy area that is set up with lounge furniture. Right off of our lobby is our Wellington meeting space, which has got ceiling to floor windows. Nice. We have existing lounge couch furniture in there, and these groups are utilizing that. They want to get creative with their thoughts. They don't want to be in that office setting. They've been working from their home offices for the last 2 years, and they're looking for different experiences that are going to help get the creative minds and those juices flowing.
That's really an interesting part that you just said that right there, Matt. And one of the things that we've talked about on this show for the last few years is that COVID didn't wholesale change everyone. It just accelerated trends that were already there in the marketplace.
Exactly.
And I remember some of the major hospitality companies were trying to create creativity suites and do all of that stuff a number of years ago. But it wasn't until the year or two before the pandemic that I started to see real iterations of that made most sense. Most notably, Anthony, I almost brought them up when we were on stage last week at the Hospitality Asset Management Association. I'm talking about Zoku out of Amsterdam, which actually created a bunch of different concepts to help forge different types of creativity a group might do. And that's so much better than sitting in a regular conference room type of setting, particularly if you make it a speakeasy and they have a couple of cocktails too.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think there's going to be so much more pressure on meeting planners to one up what they did last year and what their other, their competition's doing, because as we've said, people are coming into the meetings and these destinations is really kind of the office now because everybody's getting together. So it's like, okay, we haven't seen everybody. Not everybody's met everybody. We need to amp it up. We need to get creative. We need to get more. We need to motivate. We need to do something we've never done before. It's more than even about the content of the meeting. It's more about the feeling that you're trying to get, and the hotel is a big part of that. And the meeting plan and working with the hotel, it's critical.
Yeah. So, one of the things, Matt, you're headed towards the holiday season, and those booking windows are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. What is the effect that you're seeing here on the property in regards to that? And how are you adapting to handle it so your blood pressure doesn't go through the roof with everyone booking last minute?
It's a lot of scotch and a lot of wine in the evenings is helping with the blood pressure.
Is that about right?
We're just very adaptive. The team is willing to pivot on a dime's notice, and when our sales team books a meeting for tomorrow, we have to make it work. So we pull together as a team, we regroup, We look at what we have as our strengths, and we play off of those.
Dude, that happens. People will be like, can we do a meeting tomorrow?
We've had some meetings pull in just 2 days out, and we customize the menus based off of what we're able to get based off our suppliers. Because everything is, we're at the mercy of everybody else.
Yeah, so that's got to be complicated because, 2 days, you might not be able to serve everybody avocado toast if you can't get enough avocados.
We might not have the white linens that they wanted. We might only get black linens from the linen company. We make do. We communicate well within our team, and then what we are able to provide for the client. So those expectations are met, and we go from there.
Right.
Yeah, you know, the greatest word in the hotel business, or really business today, is the word pivot. Pivot. We have to pivot, and being able to, you know, in that, when you're in a hotel and you're not able to give the customer what they want, telling them in a way where it's not like we can't do it, but this is an option that we propose and we can still get it done. And that's really kind of, it's like being like a coach. When you're a general manager of a hotel, that you're, especially in this environment, it's less about directing, it's more about coaching. And whether you're coaching your client or whether you're coaching your employees.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, Anthony, Anthony's going to have to leave in a couple minutes, and I want to go over the slides then so we can talk a little bit more about the hotel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm curious to learn before, you know, while he's still here, because he has such that operational background, what has this journey been like for you becoming a general manager and, you know, taking charge of a property and really starting to create it as your own, particularly since it's a new brand as well for you guys?
Yeah, like I said, it was very similar to running a sales team, and I had a team of 18 people at one of my properties. I was regional, overseeing 2 additional properties, so I had different personalities and different aspects of it. So in that sense, you're doing the same thing. It was learning the building itself, learning the intricacies of how a building operates, I think was the biggest challenge for me. I've been a homeowner, but if anything ever broke at the home, my wife or I would just call somebody and they'd come and fix it up. Whereas here, we're kind of managing it on our own. So learning about the HVAC system, the plumbing system, the air conditioning, individuals in each unit, that to me was one of the biggest challenges. But we have such a great chief engineer here who's been at the property for quite some time. That was very helpful. Working with housekeeping and ordering and par levels, not something that I have done before.
Right. Yeah.
But trying to get to understand how they do it, what tools we have out there that can help us do it better. And then to Anthony's point, coaching and mentoring along the way to say, okay, this is what we're going to have to get done. Right. And here's the goals of what we need to do to get there.
Right. Anthony?
Yeah. And learning the engineering and the accounting part of your job as a general manager is really, really critical. You know, the CFO and the engineer really control the general manager, because if they don't do their job, because that's the one thing that a lot of the general managers don't really understand. They don't really understand the engineering part of it or the accounting part of it. So if you can't rely on those 2 positions and have strong people in those positions, it's really hard to do your job in anything else, because those are the 2 things I've always was a little insecure about until I became really, you know, understanding. And, you know, and really your job as general manager is to ask a question nobody's thinking of. And so when you get to the level where you can ask your CFO, your engineer a question they weren't even thinking of, that's when you're really starting to get ahead of the curve. But every time I take over a hotel, I always go to the elevator room. I always go to the boiler room. I want to know, you know, I want to know how this thing operates. And, you know, we're service oriented as general managers and as hospitality people. And you can't serve people if they have cold water or bad water pressure.
Exactly.
We just did something in a hotel where, you know, there's on the shower heads, there's something on the shower head that you can remove to make the water pressure a lot better. Now, some hotels do and some hotels don't. But I will just tell you, guests really like water pressure.
And I would like to go on record as saying that the water was warm and had adequate pressure for the shower that I took this morning. So
fantastic. Good.
Yeah. Excellent. So have you learned something like you didn't know so far in this job? Because sometimes you approach, you know, when you start a new career, you don't understand what all the variables are going to be.
Every day I'm learning something new. And I think what's been fantastic to watch is the team learn and grow together. And we're being much more proactive than reactive. So during the pandemic, everybody was short staffed. We had one person running an entire department, and it was just fixing things as it goes, putting duct tape on things. We're really getting ahead of some of our opportunities and being proactive so that the restaurant, for instance, we wouldn't have anything stocked the right way, or things
Right.
were in the right position so that we could run it and be as proficient as possible. We're taking those steps and we're getting ahead of it. And we're saying, okay, we know the business has come back full force. Here's what we need to do with the staff that we have and the equipment we have. Let's set it up for success.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
That's been really good.
So that's interesting that you have a chance to like really reinvent everything, right, Anthony?
And he also realized on Sunday mornings when the housekeeper doesn't show up, he gets a phone call.
Yeah, I've been here a couple times at 3, 4 a.m. with our night auditors, and a couple times in the morning of the housekeepers.
Yeah. And it's really the relationship. You know what you really have to cultivate, and I've done this early in my career, is let the operations understand how hard sales works, and let sales understand that. You know, your Sunday morning where you're not really thinking about the hotel, you're thinking about Monday morning. But a lot of the operations people that are home are getting calls all day long because of the operation. So really understanding each other between sales and operations, which has always been, again, it's like the general manager and the revenue manager. It's, you know, sometimes they love each other, sometimes they hate each other, depending on the day.
Exactly. But we're all here for the same end goal.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, listen, I'm here for the same end goals, just making Glenn look really good. That's really hard.
It is. That's the hardest job in all of hospitality. But you're doing it.
All right, my friend.
All right, Anthony. I'll see you later. Have a good one.
It was a pleasure. I look forward to seeing your hotel soon.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. So that was fun. Sorry he couldn't join us for the rest of the show. So one of the things that I had the opportunity to do while I was here, you know, because I'm a disgusting fat pig, I ate dinner here with you last night at the farm.
Yes.
And what I really like about that concept is it's all farm to table. And I love good, fresh ingredients. And I think that makes a really big statement for the property in terms of what people can expect from it, what the overall experience is like. How important was it getting the restaurant right?
It was so critical. Yeah. I think that's another aspect that came back after COVID was people were tired of cooking at home or ordering in. They wanted to go out and have, again, that experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And farm came about where there were so many great purveyors from just the Rockland County and the tri-state area, and so much great fresh produce, pastries that we wanted to really live that good life and the joy of love and imbibe that here within the Rockland County, using all those ingredients and making it into one concept.
And let me say, off the record, I may have had a little local bourbon last night, but I'm not saying.
A lot of great Hudson bourbon here from the area, a lot of great breweries. We've got one of the oldest vineyards in the country, Brotherhood Vineyards, right around the corner.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's so much great history in the area. It's great to incorporate that within the hotel and talk about our story.
Yeah, and not only that, but I know the pasta comes from a company just down the road, for example. Mm-hmm. And what I love about that, and this is a great tip for hoteliers, it really engenders you to the overall community. And it's so important for you to get people from the community who want to come in and eat here. And I think it really creates one of those virtuous circles that you're giving back to the community, and it makes the community want to give back to you. Plus, I just think it's the right thing to do for the environment, and food tastes better if you're not shipping it all the way across country.
Oh, no, 100%. And don't get it wrong. We still have to do that for certain products.
You're not going to necessarily get a particular cut of beef local because they may not produce it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's what we're trying to educate our guests on as well, is that we're picking the freshest products that we can get from our area where we can, but we're going to get you the best products. If tomatoes aren't in season right now because it's too cold in the Northeast, we're going to go out and get them from California, but we're still keeping it U.S. local.
Yeah, that's really good. So let's take a look at some of these photographs over here. This is where's this? This is the lobby?
No, this is farm. This is right.
Oh, this is the restaurant. Hold on.
Yeah, wait, it's right behind you.
Oh yeah, hey, it's right there.
This is right across from the bar. Yeah, this is just a great place to come in, have a cocktail before your dinner. We got the big screen TV on, getting all of your live sports. And again, we're local, so we love that the Giants, Jets, and Yankees are doing great.
Yeah. Hold on, I got a sound effect here. Oh wait, nope. Ah, crap! I can't find my right sound effect. There we go. That's my Mets sound effect. All right, sorry guys, you had to listen to all of them before that. Yeah,
sorry to all the Mets fans.
Yeah, it was really quite painful. But honestly, I'm used to the Mets losing. The last time they won, I was in high school, '86.
Oh my gosh. I just read something interesting, not to go off topic.
Yeah, but, no, it's fine. That's what the show's all about.
We got to hope that Philly doesn't win, because every year that Philly wins the World Series, we go into recession. 08, 1990. We've got some issues coming
This
if they
is
do
great.
well.
Well,
So.
my father-in-law lives in Philly, so it's just another thing to blame him for. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's not good at all.
No.
I've also never mind. I'm not going to say. I was going to say
We don't want to go down that
little self-editing over there. And what is this area over here that we're looking at?
This is the beautiful speakeasy. So this is pre-function space for our 3,000 square foot ballroom, and it could be used a lot of different ways. But again, that natural community feel. We have a large boardroom table, existing boardroom, beautiful appointments, and the speakeasy backs right up to an existing bar. So it's great for all types of functions. If you're doing a bar mitzvah, birthday party, your wedding reception in here leading into the main ballroom, it's just great space.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, going back to what you were talking about before, I like that you have different spaces that create different types of energy for different moods. One of the things that I can't stand, and hotels have gotten into this trap for so many decades, it's almost like you think it's the way it's supposed to be, is having those really boring ballrooms throughout the entire thing and not really rethinking that concept to make it a place that people actually want to hang out in. Ballrooms in general, I think, are too utilitarian. And because of that, they try to appeal to everyone, but wind up appealing to no one.
Exactly. Yeah. I've worked in Manhattan for the last 15 years. And you talk about that utilitarian space. All of our meeting space was indoors. Some of it was even underground.
Right, of course.
Manhattan. The great thing about being out here is that all of our meeting space has natural lighting. So you get that beautiful outside feel. You're comfortable sitting in this space and you get those creative juices flowing. So it's really unique. And to your point, each space is a little different than the next.
So thinking about that with the light and bringing that in, are you thinking about the idea of biophilic design, that whole concept of bringing the outside inside as well and kind of combining spaces and energies?
We've got that space right here within the restaurant.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
when
it's
the warm
beautiful
weather, those garage doors right behind us open up so you can spill out into the patio area. And Chloe and her team have used every bit of space in the hotel. So we've had wedding receptions outside of the patio. We're doing receptions out by the pool. Next year, 2 years from now, we're looking at opening up a rooftop area. So that's going to be amazing for evening receptions, luncheons.
Well, I really hope that you get that set up. All right, here's the restaurant as well with the doors open. How very convenient.
Yes, exactly. just a pre-teaser.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. And I want to just remind everybody out there the importance of great photographs. You can't do it yourself. It's absolutely essential to have somebody that could do it for you. Well, that's an absolutely beautiful picture and really taken at the right time of year. And you could really see the pool area behind it and why people like being here so much. Now, this is one of the guest rooms as well. Ooh, balcony.
Yes, this is one of our balcony kings. We have 18 of these on the south facing side. So great views of downtown Nyack. You're overlooking the Hudson River and the Cuomo Bridge.
Yes.
We've got some amazing shots in the evening. It lights up blue, red. I mean, it's just a beautiful setting, and it's such a great escape again for those who are living in Manhattan, living in parts of New Jersey or Connecticut where they can't typically get out and enjoy some of that nice, we'll call it countryside.
Yeah. And I will say, I think if you're looking at this photograph, for those of you listening to the audio feed, I'll make sure that you guys could see these pictures as well. Along the bed frame and under the bottom, it's very well lit. So it creates a nice, atmosphere within the room. It's a good kind of chill out energy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's take a look at a suite over here. This looks familiar. This looks like close to a room that I'm in, but I don't have that outdoor area. This looks really cool.
We have 4 Nyack suites. 2 of them are actually corner suites with their own connecting balconies as well.
Yeah.
These are great for guests who are looking to book their weddings here. So we have brides that are getting ready in the parlor area. They have their own private guest room, sleeping area that they're staying in. Corner suites, so they're nice and private and quiet. Balconies, again, outdoors that wrap around. So you've got some seating areas. You go enjoy a cup of coffee out there. They're really beautiful rooms, really, really greatly appointed.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're looking at the outside again with the whole pool deck area and a lounging out area and an outdoor bar as well. But probably the most important part of this is I love your love of Willy Wonka. Because that looks like a movie you're showing.
It looks like it. We've had the screen that pops down, so we've done movie nights outside. We get all the live games going. When I first started here, we had the Serena match, and it was fantastic to see everybody out there enjoying it, coming together, rooting for USA one last time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And our final picture today is one of the ballrooms.
Yeah, so this is the main ballroom. It could fit up to about 150 for a wedding or a large gala.
Right.
We've got our own dance floor, natural lighting. It's got a built-in screen and projector, so everything that you need to have a successful meeting or our social gathering. Just upgraded our sound system this past year, so really, really excited and happy about this space.
So you find yourself competing more against products down in New York City or within here in the Hudson Valley?
It's mostly here in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of larger hotels that have a lot of meeting space, but we do well with what we have, and we are a little bit of a niche market. So we're unique in our sense of the type of guest rooms that we have, the meeting space, and how unique it is that we have guests who want this look and only this look.
Yeah,
and then we have our guests who come across this and didn't even know it was out there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, getting out there and educating people on this particular type of product, because it's not something that's necessarily in a lot of markets around the country.
No, absolutely.
So what's the difference between working out here for you versus New York City? And I don't mean the daily stuff. I mean, like, New York City is like energy. It's a lot more calm out here. Do you find that you can be a little bit more laid back out here, and how do you handle it as a former guy working in New York City for a long time?
I think working in a market like Nyack, you end up being a part of the community. So the first month I was here, we had the mayor out here for lunch, and we had a launch party where we had Visit Nyack and the chamber, and you're talking to all these members of the community, and they're spreading the word about the hotel. They're inviting their friends and family to come out. You want to do well because these are the people that you're going to see out in the streets, and then you're going to have at the birthday parties with your kids.
Right.
You almost own it a little bit more, whereas New York is so transactional. It is a business, and
that's a very good point. So you need to foster that sense of community, because not only is it the right thing to do if you're walking around the neighborhood, but it's good for business at the end of the day, right?
Of course.
So what are some of the strategies you have that you were able to successfully inculcate you into the neighborhood, that now you're part of the fabric here?
Well, again, Chloe has been here for a great amount of time.
4 years.
She's got some great contacts, so she was able to already introduce them into the hotel for me. Obviously, my wife is the social butterfly, so she's got us joining everything, and the kids are in the sporting events, and we're members of the pool club down the street. So I think just that helps you start to meet individuals who had known about the hotel. Then I'm meeting people who had their weddings here 3 or 4 years ago that want to now have their kids' birthday parties. It really is just that word of mouth and getting into the community.
What about being involved in, like, the local hospitality association, or better, the business development associations? Are you doing that as well?
I haven't stepped my toe into that yet, because Chloe is so well versed in there that I'm letting Chloe.
No, totally. I get it. But overall, for the overarching strategy of the property, you'd say it's essential to be involved in those local organizations too, right?
100%. You have to be a part of what the community is doing, and what, as a whole, we work closely with the Red Cross. I mean, it's just every little aspect of it, where we're using social media companies that are based here, not a big organization based in New York. We use our PR company. They're right down the road on Main Street here in Nyack.
That's really nice.
Well, they know all the contacts that you need to get out to, with not in just Rockland County, but Westchester, Orange County. So our community starts getting a little bit bigger, and we like those individuals that are living and breathing it right here.
That's a really good point. And when you're thinking about your overall strategy, you got to understand what your feeder markets are. In this case, you're saying it's a lot of people from, and you didn't say these words, but I'm going to guess within a 2-3 hour drive.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. That tri-state area, that 2-hour drive. When we're seeing it as spill out, like, again, Bergen, Orange, Westchester County, just right over the bridge.
Now, if you're working with one of the larger public relations firms out of New York City, for example, and not a swipe at them, they do incredible work, but they are more nationally and internationally focused a lot. And what you're trying to do for your business drivers is you need the relationships of the PR company that knows I'm making up the name, the Rockland County Register, that type of person, as well as some of the influential publications in New York City and the surrounding areas as well, right?
Exactly. New York City is still a big market for us, and we like some of the corporations. love all the corporations in New York. We like the business that's coming out of there. And
but you're not as necessarily interested in being on a CNN through the New York offices as you would be in a publication that convinces people like Time Out or something like that, if that's still there, to come up for the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. We're not trying to compete with the 140,000 rooms that are in New York City and Manhattan. We're trying to have the relationship right here in this area, and we'll take what we can get out of New York.
Yeah, for sure. Before we wrap up, what is one or two of the most important lessons that you learned throughout your journey to get you that position of general manager?
I've been blessed to be in the right place at the right time. I've had some amazing mentors who took time to show me the way to do things. I think hospitality is very similar to what we discussed about doing an interview. It's about listening.
Yeah.
We have to listen to our employees about what they need, about where their opportunities are, where they need help, and help guide them and mentor them. Just like we need to listen to our guests and our clients. Right. It's not about having that next answer for them. It's about actually listening to them and finding out what that deep-seated need is and providing that best way possible.
Totally, Matt. Now, you said be in the right place at the right time. A lot of us can be in the right place at the right time, but don't recognize it or don't do anything about it. What was the difference for you that you knew you were in the right place and then you took initiative and action in order to be more successful?
I think you just have to be assertive, and you have to have that drive. I've always wanted more. I'm always thinking what the next step is going to be. And even if I don't know how to do the next step, I'm going to take it on. I'm going to be challenged. We're going to fail. We're going to learn along the way. You got to keep picking yourself up and keep pushing forward. And I've been blessed to have some amazing team members around me that have that same drive and motivation to keep pushing and wanting more.
Excellent. Give me one piece of advice before we wrap up for people that want to pursue a career in hospitality, why they should and how they can be successful.
Why they shouldn't. Okay. So if you want to pursue a career in hospitality, I think all you need to do is get out there and start. And it starts with working in your local restaurant. It's bagging groceries as a kid. You just have that interaction. And if you enjoy being around people and having fun and working hard, this is one of the hardest working industries. But we work hard and we have fun along the way. And I think just getting your foot in the door lets you take off. The best people I've met are CEOs of companies who were the doormen at the Marriott down the street when they started, and we're the banquet servers that turned into director of sales and marketing. And you really learn and grow along the way, and you develop such good relationship with so many people. I still talk to people from 15, 20 years ago. We're close friends, and they would be at the weddings and at the kids' birthday parties. So it's such a great industry where you meet so many amazing people along the way. And if you enjoy that and you're gregarious, get out there and just start.
And I'm only half joking when I say this, but if you stay around long enough, all the people that you surrounded yourself with at the beginning of your career and onwards start to achieve really good things, and they are going to help propel you as well.
Exactly. You know? No, you definitely do. And most of us, especially in the sales world, are very competitive. So we like to see competing and who's getting up faster and who's being promoted first. So it keeps you motivated.
Or as my people say, keeps you kosher. That's for sure. Tell us a little bit about how we could learn more about the hotel and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, just go on and Google Hotel Nyack. You can stop by on our website, learn more about us. We've got our social media handles, anything you need to know, or you can just give us a call right here at the hotel. 845 675-8700.
Nice. I love it. You just pulled it right off the top of your head.
Great teamwork. That's what we do here.
That was great. Matt Tobin, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. I want to thank all of you guys for being here as well today. This was really fun. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live in Pittsburgh. Can't wait for that. But while you're waiting for that, why not download the podcast? Our audio versions, you can find those on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You know the deal by now. Wherever you download your shows, we are there. And for some reason, if we're not, well, reach out to me. I'm at Traveling Glenn. He's at Anthony Hotels. Let us know. And until tomorrow, I want everyone to remember, you've got one life, so blaze on. And as Anthony would say, be kind to yourself. See you all tomorrow. Thanks, man.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, we're still on.